will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down, they're up. Inflation is getting worse, not better. The prices of groceries, gas, housing, eggs, of essentials. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has done nothing. Who say?
Okay. I'm sorry I had to subject y'all to that, but that's what Democrats think is going to win them something. You know, them just all repeating the same lines. I mean, literally, that's the entire
Social Security numbers, tax returns, healthcare bills, inspired.
They're literally repeating the same script the entire way through. Same script, same video, just a different face. Pretty wild. And that's not all of them, because like every Democrat made this type of thing. Trump has utterly broken the Democrat Party, man, and it's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And, you know, Stephen A. Smith had something to say about it, and we're going to be talking about Stephen A. Smith in this video here because he also went on The View, which I want to talk about. But, yeah, check this one out.
Now you see why Stephen A. Smith was in the polls as a presidential candidate? See what I'm talking about? You see that idiocy right there? You talk about something, people being tone deaf. Why the hell would 22 Democratic senators be literally echoing the same thing and think that would resonate with the American people?
I don't know, Stephen A. I don't know. You know, the fact that they're even considering you as a candidate says a lot. You know, and this is coming from somebody who used to be a huge Stephen A. Smith fan. I've made no secret about that. I used to watch The First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, I believe it was originally. Then it was Max Kellerman. It was Stephen A. and Max for a while, and then it wasn't it Shannon for a while, Stephen A.? But anyway, yeah, I used to watch that a lot. I used to be big into sports, right? So, yeah, I used to be a huge Stephen A. Smith fan. But considering Stephen A. Smith as a candidate for president, you pretty desperate. You real desperate, okay, if that is the case. But Stephen A. Smith recently went on The View and gave them a heavy dose of the truth and left them absolutely stunned into silence. Yeah. Joy Behar thought she was cooking. Yeah, she thought she was cooking when she was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and he was just going to repeat the same lines back to her that she loves to hear in the Democratic Party echo chamber, right? Because Democrats love to live in an echo chamber. And I've stated this before in past videos. I've always said that I'd never want to live in an echo chamber. I'd never want to be that delusional. If there's a bad idea, we need to address it. I'm going to address it if something, you know, if I see something going on with the Republican Party, and I don't care how anybody feels about it. I'd never want to live in an echo chamber just because I'm a Republican, and obviously I love talking about Republicans and ragging on Democrats because there's a lot to rag about. It's not like I make any of this stuff up, okay? You know, I always provide the facts and the footage. But if the Republican Party does something wrong, I'm going to call it out. And I think that's majorly important and a big reason why the Republican Party is winning currently, because we're able to do that. We're allowed to do that in the Republican Party without being called a far leftist, right? If you call out the Democrat Party, they call you a far leftist. You're a Putin sympathizer, right? That's what they point at you and say. But on the right, if you call out the Republican Party, people are like, yeah, actually, you're right about that one. I actually agree. You know, so it's also funny when the left calls us Trump puppets, or you know, we kiss the feet of Trump, and it's like, no, that's not the case. I've disagreed with Trump plenty of times on video, on tape, and said it. I disagree with Trump. Like I think this is a bad idea, and if I was in Congress, I would not vote for this bill, even though Trump likes it. Like I've said that. And all of you actually agreed with me, you know. But anyway, let's hop into this clip from The View.
He's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever. And he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new.
You know, Stephen A. is actually trying to save the Democrat Party. He really is. But, of course, the Democrat Party is stubborn. They refuse to listen. And that's why I said before, and I'll say it again here now, the Democrat Party will fracture come 2028. The Democrat Party will break apart. Yes, I said it. There will be the far left, and then there'll be more centrist Democrat or, you know, reasonable Democrats, right, who want to move closer to the center. I put that in air quotations because you can't really be a reasonable Democrat if you agreed with the far left for so long. But anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. There'll be a segment of the Democrat Party that will move closer to the center, and there'll be the far left who will stay where they are and will dig in. Come 2028, it'll break apart. And you saw a little bit of it there. Stephen A. Smith he's gonna be a part of the Democrat Party that shifts closer to the middle, and everybody on The View is gonna be the far left wing that digs their heels in, and they will absolutely lose. But that's just my humble opinion. Y'all can let me know. But yeah, I definitely agree with him. How could you not say that Trump has a mandate? He didn't win the popular vote the first time he was president, but he still was president. Okay, like he said, a Republican hasn't won the popular vote in quite a long time. And not only did he win the popular vote, we can move beyond that, but he won every single swing state. He didn't lose a single one, not a single one, and he nearly won in places that he shouldn't have won, or it shouldn't have even been close in. So if you have a situation like that, where when, and I showed you guys some of those counties and states in general that all moved to the right. You guys probably remember the image of the United States, and I wish I had this pulled up, but I don't. The image of the United States, and it had a bunch of red arrows, and there was like 3 blue arrows in an entire sea of red. And the red arrows represented how far the counties or the cities moved to the right. And the entire map was covered in red. And if you looked real close, you could see just a couple little specks or a few little specks of blue amongst an entire country of red. So basically the entire country, sorry about that, smack my mic. So basically the entire country shifted to the right, but that's not a mandate though. Really? Okay. Of course, Karine Jean-Pierre had something to say about that because she also went on to The View. Check out her response.
When Stephen was leaving, she said, nice to meet you. I disagree with you.
Yes, I do.
And I was curious, and so that's why I was curious.
I do, on the mandate, on Donald Trump and his administration having a mandate, and we have to be super mindful and careful of this because he does not have a mandate. And what I mean by that is if you look at the numbers, just look at the facts, he won with the smallest margin of the popular vote since the 19th century. Yeah. There was no coattail.
And he still won the popular vote.
meaning that it is the House is at a razor thin, and he's on his way in the first 100 days to be the most unpopular president in their first 100 days. That is not a mandate.
In 70 years.
In 70 years.
The word man is in there.
Well, but again, that's questionable.
Yeah, so according to Karine Jean-Pierre, it's not a mandate because Trump is going to be unpopular, even though we've seen polls where he is popular, and those are left-wing push polls, in my humble opinion. So if he's winning on left-wing polls, or if his approval rating is high on left-wing polls, then I think you're wrong, Karine Jean-Pierre, but that's just my humble opinion. What do y'all think? Also, we have to take that with a grain of salt because this is the same woman who said that Joe Biden was cognitively all there. Remember, she said Joe Biden was her mentor. Yeah, she sat up there and tried to convince us that Joe Biden was completely all there, everything was fine, and that the whole notion of Joe Biden, being a lights on but nobody's home type of guy, that was all right-wing propaganda. That was her. Yeah, that was the same person. So, yeah, I don't believe a single thing coming out of her mouth. Not a single thing at all. But do you? Talk to me. I definitely think Trump has a mandate 1,000% for the reasons that I named earlier. And him simply not having the coattails, right, just says that Trump is an anomaly, right? Trump is someone who has a lot of pull, has a lot of say. And like I said before, I think Trump, once he's done, after these 4 years, he will become the kind of Barack Obama of the Republican Party. Like, he'll be the guy behind the scenes trying to direct the show. He will stay in politics. The Republican Party needs a guy like Trump that stands up and says, no, we ain't just going along to get along. We're going to do it the way that I was doing it. Now, there's going to be a different face out there, and I'm not bossing you around, but that's the reason why we got to where we got to, is because I stepped up and said, no, we ain't just kissing behinds and rubbing elbows so people don't call us weird, or shaking hands and rubbing elbows so people don't call us weird. We going to stand on business. So, yeah, Trump will be behind the scenes running the show, and the Republican Party will continue to win. Sounds like a great next probably 12 years to me. But what do you say? Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. I'm out.